okay, and I will mask out some parts of the shadow. For example, here I don't want to have the shadow, and here, because it doesn't look very good. And without and with the shadow, it looks better, in my opinion. Let's lower the opacity. Let's say 15. Okay. Now let's clean up our layers a little bit. So this will name shadow large, and I will group those 3 layers into shadow group, shadows, and we can group those 3 layers into BG group for background, and those 3 layers I will bring to the bottom of the stack. Okay, now let's add some lightning touch-ups to the logo with clicking the logo selected, and above it Command Shift N for new layer, and clip this layer so contents of it are visible only on the logo. And with your marquee, elliptical marquee, select a ellipse like this, and with your gradient tool, with gradient set from white to transparent, and with elliptical gradient, create a gradient like this. Command D to deselect. Now let's transform this effect. Okay, and bring the opacity down to 30 or 25, and add a mask to this layer, and with soft brush mask out some of those areas we don't want to be visible to make it more irregular. Okay, now we will add 2 lens flares. First of all, we need to create those lens flares. So create a new document in Photoshop, 1000 by 1000. You don't have to name it because we will not save it. And create a new layer and pick your foreground color to brightness 50 and no color, so it's just neutral gray, and Alt backspace to fill your layer with this color. Now go to filter, render, and lens flare. In my opinion, the most pretty lens flare is this 105 prime, and place it at the middle and hit OK. Here we have our lens flare on the gray background. Now we need the same but on black background, so create a new layer. On this new layer, command backspace to fill it with my foreground color, in this case black, and go to filter and lens flare again to create the same effect. So here we have our lens flare on black and on gray, right? Now duplicate those 2 layers into our document. Go to this document and change the blending mode of this black flare to screen, and change the opacity of this on gray to overlay. And now we can group those layers together, name it flare. Let's duplicate this group and make one invisible and work with this one to have this copy as a backup. And now let's scale down this group and place our flare. As you can see, this looks very, very interesting. Let's place one flare here We can rotate it. We can set opacity of this overlay to 50 and scale down this screen flare. Yep. And now make this copy visible. Same here. Opacity 50 to overlay and scale down a little bit this screen. And let's place this flare here and let's scale it down, holding Alt and Shift to constrain proportions. Rotate it. And there we have it. At this point I think I might like to correct a background lightness. Let's make it a little brighter, so change the opacity of this gray layer here to 60 or 40, and let's change the opacity of, no, let's not change the opacity, let's mask out some of this texture with soft brush, opacity 20. Let's mask out those areas here and here a bit. Okay, now this shadow under the pills, let's mask out also a bit this part of this shadow. Okay, and vignette set the opacity to 40 to 40, and yeah, that looks much better. Maybe I will add a dark area here. Opacity set to 5, and with this brush, little darkening here. Okay. Alright, now let's add some coloring touch up. Add a new curves adjustment layer at the top of your layers palette and play with some tones. Bring down the mid-tones a bit to add this contrasty dramatic look, and you can add some colors by decreasing the amount of red color in mid-tones and play with blue a bit to add this bluish tint to image. Not in highlights, just in shadows. Okay, before and after. Looks better. How about green? Yeah, before and after. Okay, let's rename this curves layer to color tint, and let's add some type. Type in with your type tool, Touchups plus. I've chose the Helvetica Neue with medium variant and with tracking decreased to -80. Okay. Create a new layer now. Place it below the type layer, and with your rectangular marquee select an area like this and fill it with whatever color you like. It doesn't matter because we will apply an effect color overlay to this layer, and pick a color like this. Now I will add a drop shadow, subtle drop shadow to this type layer. Okay, let's group those together and name it Touchups plus. So let's place this second type element in our left bottom corner. At the start I planned this will be a few lines of text, but I thought that even cooler will be our logo here and just one line of text. So we will start by unlinking those two layers because I would like to duplicate this logo layer by Command J or Control J, and this layer duplicated, put it on top of the layers palette and position it in the left bottom corner. Apply color overlay effect and select the color white. Scale down this logo, make it, let's say, this big or even smaller. Okay. Now let's keep the left and right margin the same. So first of all, I will reposition this text here, and with my marquee selection tool I will select this area from the right edge to the S letter, and right with this selection I will drag a vertical guideline which will snap to this selection. Now with my rectangular marquee tool still selected, I will move the selection to my left edge, and I can do the same on that side with my guideline. This way I am sure that my left and right margins are equal. So right now I can select this logo, place it right here to snap the guide, and with my type tool I will type about anything here. Seriously, yeah, cool. And make the text white, place it near the logo, and I think the light variant of the font will be cool here. I will select both layers and scale those down even more, and maybe this one word seriously will be cooler if bolder. Let's see, bold. Okay, yeah, that looks good. And here is our final artwork. I hope you like it, guys, and I hope you had some fun doing this stuff and that you learned something new. My name is Tomasz Biskup and I made this tutorial exclusively for PSD Tats. I had a lot of fun doing this, so I hope you liked it.